Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome in to the live stream. We're going to start in a few minutes. We always like to let YouTube send out their alerts to everybody. If you're watching us on YouTube and Facebook and wherever else you are, I'm going to start the show in just a moment, or a few minutes, actually. Today, we're going to be talking about the things that you need to take care of before the end of the year to prepare yourself for in real estate investing. Let me know how you guys are doing. I'll open up the chat here. Yes, I'm growing my, I feel like I'm growing a holiday beard right now. Something about the coziness of it, plus the laziness of it. That means I don't have to shave. Hello, Lindsay. Hey, Jim Jackson. Welcome to the show. Make sure you smash that like button and subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. Again, today we're going to talk about you need to do these 5 things before 2022. Irie, thank you. Good for you with your relaxing with your grooming style. That's right. I'm kicking back with my grooming. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you, Lavetta. Yeah, it's a mess. That's for sure. As we've been rebuilding the studio slowly, and it's just kind of a messy setup, but we're working on it. All the cables everywhere that I've been running, and new audio interface, and our last audio interface exploded, or in this power outage, I don't know, must have blown out an amp. Hey, Eric. Eric is here. Have you guys done all your Christmas shopping, holiday shopping? Or maybe you don't even do that kind of shopping. JR, good morning from California. So we're just waiting for YouTube sends out their alerts. And they get hit people's inboxes, and we just like to make sure that everyone gets a chance to jump on here before we start. Yeah, I have a few like little stocking stuffer things I still need to do. Oh, my neck is killing me. Bon dia from Dallas-Fort Worth area. Bon dia. Yes, I do. Irie says, I often tune in from the Caribbean. Do you have any perspectives that apply internationally? Absolutely. I mean, I think all of this things, we are in a global economy now, Irie, right? And so while we build, for instance, our company at Morris Invest, we build our properties in the United States, in some of the best tax-friendly and landlord-friendly states. That's where we build our new construction properties for our clients, rental properties. The strategies and tactics that we talk about on this show apply internationally. And we work with a lot of international investors who, maybe they'll set up their business in the Caribbean, right? Or a zero tax-friendly haven like Antigua or other places like that, or maybe Malta where you get a 2 to 5% flat tax. But then investing in international U.S. assets, and you can do so using non-recourse financing. So you don't even need to have a U.S. business entity. You don't even need to use worry about your own personal credit or applying with your own personal name using non-recourse financing. The U.S. banks will. That's how we're able to work with a lot of international investors. So just understanding that, yes, on the international level, but all of these strategies and tactics apply that I'm going to talk about on the show today. No matter where you live, you should be doing these things towards the end of the year. D-smooth regulation. That's what they're talking about on Capitol Hill. The SEC came out last week saying that earlier this week, Gary Gensler, the head of the SEC, saying that he thinks that crypto investing needs to be inside of a playground, a framework. Basically, they just want access to your privacy and data, And these big governments right now, guys, they are scared. They are scared of, like what we do here, talking about performing assets and real estate investing, right? It's a way to hedge against this corrupt government system and these banks that are making money hand over fist and don't have to hold any of your money in the bank and can lend out as much as they want. You go and try to do something like that, you'd be put in jail, right? But these banks are rewarded for that. And so when you invest in real estate or you invest in alternative assets that are not tied to Wall Street, boy, they don't really like that too much. And the U.S. is really unfavorable for crypto investing, specifically. A lot of international companies that are launching new coins, new tokens, new projects, DeFi projects, and other things are not doing it in the United States. They do not want to work with U.S. investors. Initial coin offerings, ICOs, they do not want to deal with the United States. Nicole is here. Barry Callahan is here. Yeah, there's a bunch of Lovetta's talking about delivery delays. Yeah, because of the big cloud outage yesterday from Amazon Web Services, which, by the way, Amazon has a partnership with the CIA. Like the CIA contracts with Amazon Web Services to run their cloud infrastructure backend. Just think about that for a second. The Central Intelligence Agency contracts with Amazon for their cloud infrastructure. Anyway, Amazon Web Services was down yesterday, had a big outage. It caused people that had Ring doorbells not to work, their Echo devices not to work. It caused huge delays in deliveries from Amazon, packages piling up at Amazon facilities. So it just goes to show you like how one cloud service had massive effects across the economy yesterday. Hey, Ken. Ken is here. We're just waiting just one more minute and then we'll get started here. Till everyone gets in, I just want to give everyone a chance to see the beginning of the show. Well, and Ken, yeah, it's a good point why you should diversify, right? I mean, one of the things that I'm really working towards in this next year, one of my sort of New Year's resolutions, is to diversify my banking and assets, specifically though banking, outside of one entity. Like if you're just with one bank, well, what happens? You know, the U.S. banks are not very safe, to be honest with you. U.S. banks are ranked about 40th or 50th in the world for safety for banks. About 500 banks a year default in the U.S. There are certain countries that have never had defaults on their banks. Singapore being one of them. The country of Georgia specifically, another one, for excellent international banking options. So even just opening an account in one of those countries to protect some of your money outside of the government. So that's one of my New Year's resolutions, is to diversify away from one structure. You know, in the United States, you're told that everything is safe. Your money is safe up to $250,000 FDIC insured. But what if all of the banks, what if the major banks collapse? They're only, how is the U.S. government going to be able to cover that insurance? And if you don't think that this happens, it happens all the time. I mean, look what's happening in Ukraine right now, right? There's huge concerns over the currency in Ukraine as Russian troops amass along the border. Look what happened in Venezuela. This happens all the time. Look what happened in Greece. So to think that we are somehow insulated from that that's the kind of propaganda that we're usually fed inside the United States. And if you want to protect your family, you need to stop listening to this propaganda from these big banks and the federal government. Yes, exactly, Gerald. And having your money in real estate, way safer than banks. Try to go to a bank and ask, like if you had, I don't know, $50,000 sitting in a bank, try and just go to that bank and ask them that you'd like to take that home today in cash. They won't have it. It won't be in the bank. Maybe they'd be able to give that to you. But what about the guy behind you in line that also wanted to get his $50,000 out? No, they'll tell you to come back on Friday because they don't have it. They'd have to radio their headquarters and have it transferred over there because they don't have it. They don't have to under the law. But in countries like Singapore and other, they have to have your money in the bank. It'd be illegal for them not to. But in the U.S., they don't have to have your money in the bank. In fact, under the pandemic, 0% of your money needs to be in a U.S. bank. It used to be 10%, now it's 0. Yeah, you should call and see if they have your money. Like, go down there and ask, you know, you might be able to get your $10,000 out, but the person behind you in line, they probably don't have that much money there at the vault. Clearly, they don't. Ronald Lee says, I'm searching planners. What planner did you mention that you utilize? When you mean planners, what do you mean? Like a digital planner, or do you mean like a person? Irie? Sure, and if you want to, you know, I'll open it up to some Q&A here at the end, but I've got full videos on that subject here on the channel about, you know, leveraging that equity in your home and moving that equity, that snowball method, into multiple rental units. Oh, a written planner. I'm a big fan of Michael Hyatt's full focus journal. Let me see if I can pull it up here. michaelhyatt.com. So if you go to michaelhyatt.com, he has the full focus planner, I believe. If you go to his website, planner, click planner. So michaelhyatt.com. And here it is, the full focus planner. I'm a fan of this because it really sets out your month, your week, and your year. And what a great time to order this for the beginning of the year. Plus, he has a membership level, but it's free, where you can watch his video tutorials on how to use the planner on the website. So when you get the planner, there's a little tag inside that shows you the website on how to use it. And you have different choices, different colors and sizes. I just get the basic one, the basic planner, and I get a 4-pack. So I get the big one, the big regular edition, this size, and they send it to my door. I think for the year. So I have the 4-pack is just going to be arriving in the next few days for me, and then. Sorry, my internet's slow in this section of the... And I have the subscribe and save. So every year they just send me a new batch of 4 of them. And what's cool is that they cover each quarter. The first quarter, second quarter, third and fourth quarter. And then that's how, you kind of break it down for your business and you're investing that way. So anyway, michaelhyatt.com is the website. Here's how you spell his last name with 2 T's if you're interested in it. I like them a lot. I like these planners a lot. Gets me to focus. Oh, and right in our chat here, Kelly dropped the Amazon link right there so you can get the full focus planners. You don't even need to go to his website. You can just go to Amazon, but the link is right there in our chat. Ken Davis, is that a green screen? Yes, this is not a green screen. That's my Stratocaster. See if I duck out of the way? You can see it's in focus. You can see someone painted a picture of Grover. And that's on my shelf, plus some of my Star Trek books up here on the shelf. This is my studio. See? Although Natalie's not sitting here right now, that's her shot. And this is our daily show that we do over on the Morning Invest channel, where we look at our corrupt government and corrupt government banking system. So we do that show every day as well, 9 a.m. Eastern time. But this is our real estate show. So let's kick things off. Get my copious notes up here. All right. Welcome into the real estate investing show as we close out the year. This is a good time of year to reflect on what we've done and where we're going. And I have to say there are major things that you need to look at while you're gathering up, having the eggnog. Does anybody drink eggnog anymore? Maybe you put a little alcohol in it or something, or having those Christmas cookies. It's a time when businesses are shut down. It's a time to sit down and reflect and plan your new year. And there's a couple of things you need to do, though, before the year ends if you want to take advantage of both taxes and planning as you prepare yourself for the new year. So that's what we're going to talk about on today's show. I have 5 things specifically that you should do to prepare for the new year in 2022. Whether you're a real estate investor or not, it's important to have your taxes in place. You really better make sure you have your taxes and finances planned out before the end of the year. This is what my wife and I are doing right now. We had a big tax meeting late last week with our tax planners, and there's a lot we need to get done. There's a lot we need to get done before the end of the year. Very, very important so that we don't get hammered with massive tax bills. And of course, if you live in the United States, you are in one of the most heavily taxable countries in the world. And so you are going to get hit pretty squarely in the stomach by Uncle Sam if you don't plan ahead. So come tax time, it's really too late. It's really too late to make any moves that are going to affect your tax bill for 2021. Like if you're waiting until April to kind of make some plans, you're screwed. That's why we talk about here on the show how important it is for your tax planning to be done all year long. When we work with our tax team, this is not something we do at the last minute. We like to say that filing your taxes is the easy part because all the hard work is done. Like hiring someone to file your taxes, that should be wham, bam, easy, and thank you, Sam, and sent off. No, it's the whole year planning that is so vital to make sure that when the taxes are filed, you're not paying anything in taxes. As a real estate investor, you should be paying virtually nothing in taxes if you do it correctly. So that's why you want to be proactive right now. Look, we're at the beginning of December. So you have time to take advantage of some of the amazing opportunities and some of the tax deductions that real estate investing has to offer, especially before the end of the year. This is a very, very busy time around our office at Morris Invest. We build new construction rental properties, and so if someone can acquire a property, get under contract, get ready to close on that property in the calendar year, then of course they're able to make sure that they're taking those tax benefits in this calendar year on their taxes. So that's why it's a very, very busy time of year. Today I'm going to share 5 things specifically, though, that you should do before the year ends if you want to be proactive about your finances and get your ducks in a row before 2022. So you're in the right place today. So ask any of your tax-related questions in the chat and in the comments below. We will attempt to answer them, even if you're watching this video later. Put your thoughts down, and our team will jump in and answer any of your questions. We have a great team here that will help answer anything you have on your mind. So number 1, we talked a little bit in the pre-show about getting your papers in order. So number 1 on my list is to declutter, and declutter your document life. This is I have it written down on my calendar right now, something that I'm planning to do personally, because throughout the year, you'll know that you get all sorts of documents and digital copies of things. You put them in folders on your desktop. You have no file structure. You just kind of throw them randomly and you can't find them. And then you do find them. Now they're a mess. They're all over the place. This is I believe decluttering is a good thing to do in general, of course, to clean up your mind, but also it's a fantastic thing to do to declutter your business. Before the year ends, you're going to want to ensure that all of your documents, all of them, are in order. That means making sure that all of your books and your balance sheets are in order. We discovered something on our balance sheets that we were not happy about, so now we have to backtrack and dig through it and find out where the documentation is for this particular item. And it's a pain. We had to contact a company. We're waiting on them to respond. But thank goodness we went through this decluttering process and found this problem. That's how you discover these things. So that means making sure that all of your books, all of your balance sheets, all of your profit and loss statements are ready to go. Decluttering also applies to your responsibilities. Are there any tasks that you can outsource before the end of the year? Things that you don't need to have on your plate? Are you doing all of the bookkeeping yourself? Maybe it's time to hire a bookkeeper. Bookkeepers are not that expensive. And you might think oh, maybe they are. No, if you realize that those hours that you waste every month trying to keep all these balls in the air, and especially as a real estate investor, making sure that all your rental statements, all of your property management statements, all of those things, electric bills, anything like that, you need to have organized. And it may make more sense for you to outsource that to a bookkeeper, someone who can be on top of it rather than you trying to handle all of that. If you're not an organized person by nature, do you suddenly think you're going to become organized and start to become really organized with all of your documents? If you're not organized with your documents, that's where errors happen. And the IRS does not like errors, especially when it comes to taxes. There's a lot of things that the IRS is changing over the past year, and you need to have great people on your team. And so if you think you're going to do it all on yourself, it could be land you in a world of pain that you might not be ready for. So think about outsourcing some of these things. There might be new laws. There's a lot of new laws, around taxes. And so that's why it's very important to make sure you've got someone who spends their life sleeping in taxes, and studying the tax laws. There's a couple of things this year that happened that really affected our taxes. And so we were able to take advantage of those things because we have a great team in place. So decluttering, it's a good time of year to go through. One thing I recommend, I use iCloud and iCloud file structure on my Mac that syncs between all of my desktops. I used to use Dropbox. Natalie is a big fan of Dropbox. I use it still for some business stuff, but mostly I've been moving mostly over to iCloud for files. And I've got a lot of duplicate folders. I've got a bunch of duplicate files. I've got things that are in the wrong place. So on my to-do list here before the end of the year is going through and erasing, cleaning up, moving files around to just make it a clean, very easily accessible experience, health documents and so forth. Then that should be something you should carve out on your calendar and spend a Saturday afternoon working on. It'll just make you feel so much better. And if you're the type that likes physical data, paper, things like that, getting a really good filing system is also really will really help you. I know some people like the physical paper rather than digital. Great. Make sure you've got a good filing system, and that is cleaned up as well to stay on top of that. Number 2, before 2022, we want you to maximize your deductions for 2021. Now, this can mean purchasing more real estate before the end of the year, taking inventory, going through and taking inventory of what you currently have and where you can write off additional items, business purchases. This is why there are so many companies right now looking to, buy computer systems. They run their numbers because they've got a great tax team, and they're saying, whoa, wait a second. I'm a real estate professional. I need to buy a new computer for my real estate investing business. Great. This might be the perfect time to lower your overall taxable burden by making additional business purchases before the end of the year and being smart about that. For instance, someone in our chat just before the show was talking about buying some personal planners, and I recommended the Full Focus Planner by Michael Hyatt. That's a business purchase. If you're buying it for your business to stay organized, making those types of subscription purchases before the end of the year, whether it's software or physical hardware, killer, really smart move in order to lower all your taxable income. Making sure, though, of course, that you're taking care of those receipts and categorizing them specifically, maximizing your accounts. One thing that people forget at the end of the year is also to maximize your retirement accounts. You know that I extol the virtues of the self-directed IRA here on this show. So if you have not made your yearly maximum contributions to your self-directed IRAs, do it now. Do it before the end of the year. Again, that lowers your overall taxable income, and that means you're taxed because it's post-tax. Then you're taxed less on the amount of income you have to pay to Uncle Sam. So take that. That's a taxable donation or a post-tax donation that the government will not bother you with, and then you can watch that account grow. You can do the same thing with your family as well, by the way. We have self-directed IRAs set up for our children, and you might not realize that let's say you've got 1, 2, 3 children. You can set up self-directed IRAs for those children, and by making contributions to their self-directed IRAs, that also lowers your income for the calendar year. Do that before the end of the year under the maximum allowable contribution limit. And you can use those self-directed IRAs, of course, to invest in anything. You have the control to do that. And it's a really, really powerful tool for you to invest in real estate as well. Inside of that self-directed IRA, watch that account grow tax-free with all of that tenant income coming in over the years. An amazing performing asset inside of a tax shelter of a self-directed IRA. Number 3 on my tips before 2022 is to talk about cost segregation. This is a high-level topic that we talk about in real estate investing, and I had a viewer earlier ask me about cost segregation for internationally. Yes, being able to use a cost segregation analysis is an amazing way for real estate investors to take advantage of depreciation on the property. This is something you're interested in taking advantage of. You will have to have calculations completed by the end of the year. This is something you should speak with your certified public accountant about. Remember, a cost segregation analysis must be performed by a cost segregation engineer who is an accountant with a specialty in cost segregations. Again, we have full videos here on the channel about cost segregation, so I'm not going to belabor it, but I just will give you the 30,000 foot level, which just means that you're able to accelerate the depreciation specifically on items inside the house instead of just the house itself. The analysis will break down the roof, the cabinets, different things in the house, road improvements, sewer lines, electric, etc. And you're able to depreciate those items separately on your taxes, and therefore you're able to mitigate your overall tax burden. You're going to want to do that, though, with a certified engineer who handles this, and you're going to want to do it before the end of the year. So again, getting those calculations drawn up, very important to get on the phone. Especially if you've got a new construction property, this is going to be something that is going to benefit you tremendously on your taxes. New construction cost segregation analysis is a game changer. Can save you $10, $20, $30, $40,000 on your taxes just by having that one piece of paper. A game changer. Number 4 is acquisition strategy. So it's important to assess whether you'll need to pick up more rentals by the end of the year, by the end of 2021, in order to offset your rental income. Remember the old adage, right? Buy until you die. This is what real estate investors do. Buy until you die. Because the moment you stop buying as a real estate professional, then you start paying taxes on the income from those tenants. Well, one way to offset that income is to acquire additional rental properties and to depreciate those assets and offset that income. This is why real estate investors pay nothing in taxes. If you do it legally and you follow the law and you follow how smart real estate investors do it, and you listen to Tom Wheelwright and you listen to other tax experts, you should be paying nothing in taxes if you do it correctly. So maybe you're planning to make a significant amount of money next year. And you say to yourself, okay, well, now I can plan this out and say next year, because of the amount of money I will make next year, this is something you want to talk with your tax planner. You have a big inheritance coming next year. In fact, one of our viewers here last week told us that they have a $100,000 inheritance coming in the next, I think, few weeks or so. I forget specifically, but great. Now you know that that's coming in a certain calendar time frame, and you can plan accordingly to acquire performing assets to offset that income or that inheritance tax, whatever you're going to have to pay to Uncle Sam, if anything. Maybe you're getting a big distribution from the sale of a company. Who knows? Just be aware that you're going to have to pay taxes on that at some point. Wouldn't it be great if you could offset that instead of paying Uncle Sam, who's just going to spend it on bombing other countries and a defense budget? By the way, did you see last night that the House of Representatives passed the defense budget? $768 billion, which was $20 billion more than they even asked for. Don't even get me started. You know how I get one. But yeah, $768 billion. So you send a check into Uncle Sam on your taxes, on your hard-earned business taxes, and where do you think that money's going? Yeah, you know exactly where it's going. So wouldn't it be better for you to invest that money? Aren't you a better steward of that money than the U.S. government? Yes, the answer is yes. The answer is always yes. So what is your strategy? That's where our team comes into play to help you with this strategy. I don't know if I've mentioned this or not recently, but when you schedule a free call with our team at Morris Invest, just go to morrisinvest.com. When you click on the free book a call button, a calendar pops up. Put in your 30-minute time slot that you choose, and we'll call you at that time. Please make sure you put in the right phone number, of course. But we will go through your investing strategy with you for free. Like, we will work with you on this strategy to help you. So next year, you've got a big sum of money coming in from a distribution from a business, payout, et cetera. Then we can look at what quarter that falls in. We can plan that maybe it's best if you're going to buy or invest in a brand new construction duplex in June of next year based on this money that you'll be receiving. This is how it can offset your taxes. We'll show you all of that so you can see. We will run the numbers with you and make this process seamless for you. So again, if you want to do that, it's totally free. We'd love to work with you. Just go to morrisinvest.com. Again, morrisinvest.com, book a call with us, and we will take care of it for you. Number 5 is setting goals. Now, I know this seems like a cliche. It's the end of the year, and people talk about their New Year's resolutions. But I can tell you, in all of the productivity books that I've ever read, you could read anything from James Clear's amazing book. On James Clear's book is called Atomic Habits. And these small goals, these small bite-sized goals implemented step by step by step lead to dramatic results. And so writing things down, you should take a look at your goals. And that's where that focus planner comes in that I was talking about earlier by Michael Hyatt. Again, I love it. I'm not affiliated with it in any way. I just love the focus planner. We'll have a link in the description if you want to order it from Amazon. They send it to you each quarter. You can do their subscription service. So you get one planner every quarter and you write out your goals. And at the beginning of the year, at the beginning of the book, it has 10 major goals for your year. More than 10 is ridiculous. You do not want to be focusing on more than 10 big things for your year, okay? One of them might be to lose 20 pounds. One of them might be to finish or write that book that you want, right? See, that's how big these goals are. One of them might be to acquire a second rental property. Write it down. And then the book then breaks it down into actionable steps, right? Each week, how can you move that ball forward? By just the act of just writing it down already sort of enters that goal into the universe. And now it registers it. Now, I don't know how spiritual you are, but it basically registers it with the universe. And now you're accountable. Now we're working towards that goal. And now taking little action steps. What do you need to do to acquire that next rental property? Are there 10 steps? Well, I need $5,000 more for a down payment. Okay, great. How do we get there? Can we get there by March? Can we get there by April? What do we need to do in order to get that additional $5,000, $7,000, $8,000, $10,000 for a down payment? Okay, maybe we can cut back on our Netflix subscription. Maybe we can pull back on going out to eat as much. Whatever it is, what do we need to do over those next 4 months to get there and hit that goal? And losing weight, and you want to read X number of books, you want to start your business, you want to incorporate your business. Write those goals down at the beginning of the planner or on your whiteboard, I don't care where it is. And then what can you do every day? The 3 things that you work on every day when you get out of bed or you have some free time to move those goals along. Is it simply making a phone call? A lot of times when you start a project, whether it's, let's say I wanted to, Natalie and I built the Financial Freedom Boot Camp. It's a 90-day free boot camp. Well, when we built it, we mapped it out as a goal, and we knew it was going to take us a certain amount of time. So we broke it down into smaller bite-sized chunks. And then we had a whole bunch of things on the team. Like I have a great team at Morris Invest. So, okay, then we needed the graphics built. We needed to take the text and turn it into, and then, Lindsay and Kelly and Nicole were able to take it and run with it on our team and really turn it into an awesome download. But we just had to break it down step by step by step. And now it's a reality, and now it exists, and people download it every day. But you've got to break it down, and you don't have to do all 30 of those steps in one day. Just taking one at a time really, really moves you towards towards success with these goals. But I mean, it's such a difference. The people that I know that just don't write anything down, don't write their goals down, they are just largely unsuccessful, bottom line. But the people that keep to-do lists, the people that have a whiteboard, the people that write down their goals are far more successful. The data is in on that statistic, without a doubt. So if you haven't seen my interview with Tom Wheelwright on the end of year tax planning, you're going to want to go over and check out that video next, because that is your next step in this year-end tax planning. So thanks so much for subscribing to the channel. Drop me any comments below and I'd love to hear your New Year's resolutions as well. And I'll open it up for some Q&A here a little bit. Ken Davis says, good. Let me see if I can pull the chat up here on the screen. Clayton, something I have told my children about is coming to pass. Buy real estate in times of inflation and you actually make money on future weaker dollar. Yes, exactly. Now they're witnessing this. They're witnessing inflation, right? They're seeing the value of a U.S. dollar plummeting. It's not sustainable. I mean, did you see what Elon Musk said yesterday during that Wall Street Journal summit? He's saying, how do you spend $7 trillion, you only bring in $3 trillion? How do you sustain a business like that? You're taking like a $3 to $4 trillion write down, a loss every year. How do you sustain it? You can't. And you just continue to print more money. And the problem with printing money is that it hurts poor and middle class Americans the most. It doesn't hurt the wealthy, because the wealthy that own businesses make money off of people paying more for goods and services. They will cry and say that the cost of things has gone up. That's why we at Chipotle need to raise prices of our burrito, which they did a few months ago. They did, but then they also saw record profits. So the same people are coming in to buy the burrito, but the profits for Chipotle skyrocketing, right? And that's what happens with these. That's what happens with the wealthy when inflation happens. It affects the poor and middle class the most because of the cost of everyday items and healthcare and groceries and gas going up, up, up in the United States. Let's see. Ken, I like what you said. If you do real estate right, you don't pay taxes. There's no income, and you have a competent CPA. Exactly. Okay, Irie said, okay, you're talking about converting that single family into multiple units, so it's not commercial. And then after converting one property into multiple units, so it's not commercial. Okay, so you're taking one single family and you're converting it into multiple units, and you wanted to pull the equity out of that property. Just not sure I understand the question. What was Captain Awesome saying? Yes, we have real people on our team. Maybe I missed the... Oh, Captain Awesome saying, if I call, it won't be somebody like a computerized bot or somebody from India. No. No one from our team is from India. We all are our whole team is in the United States. And you can fly and meet our team if you like. Well, anything more than 4 units is considered commercial. So if it's 5 units, it's a commercial property. Oh, sorry, I still had your question up here on the screen. Oh, yes, thanks. So here is the link on the screen here. If you guys want to get the boot camp, the 90-day freedom boot camp I was talking about, just go to morrisinvest.com/bootcamp to grab that. Any other questions, you guys, before we wrap things up? Boy, we've got a big storm hitting us here. Like 12-foot waves. Not 12 foot, 12 meter high waves. Jim Jackson says, how do you keep? You must have hit enter before you finish that sentence, Jim. Let's see here. What are my thoughts on buying land and creating livable housing so the homeless... Buying land and creating livable housing. Yeah, I love that idea. I mean, we have an affordable housing crisis in the United States. So there's absolutely a demand for properties. We build low cost housing. And that's what we do, is build affordable housing. JR says, closing on my first Morris Invest property on December 23rd, not a real estate professional. Okay, you're not a real estate professional. Not really anything I can do in terms of taxes for this year, correct? I would definitely who are you working with on our team? I would definitely, because they're going to have a more detailed look at your financials on what to do. So if you're not a real estate professional, then under the tax code, you wouldn't be able to take advantage of the cost seg. Haley, okay. Yeah, Haley, I would just ask her that question. She'll obviously have a much deeper understanding of it. Are you buying it inside of a self-directed IRA or anything like that? Yeah, I would definitely speak to her on that. Yeah, I mean, definitely, I would have suggested if you were a real estate professional. Ken Davis brings up a great point, like a write-off on closing costs for the year. Oh, you're using a 401k loan. So if you're using a 401k loan, yeah, and then depending on the interest or the closing costs, and then if any interest payments are made at the closing for the purchase of the property, would be a technical write-off in this calendar year. But yeah, definitely ask Kaylee if there's anything that, that wasn't covered. That's great that you're using a 401k loan. One thing I'm trying to think, because that's how I bought my first 2 properties, using a 401k loan. And then I'm just trying to think if there's anything I missed. And I was not a real estate professional at that time. This is years ago. Using because it's not considered, it's not income. So you don't have to worry about that part of it. But then you also get the benefit, depending on, if you're paying it back. Remember, the beauty of a 401k loan is that it's your money, but then it's also, when you're paying it back, you're able to actually pay back more in the calendar year than your 401k would normally be allowed under the law. So because you're paying a loan back and you're still able to make your normal yearly contribution limit for a 401k, you can actually exceed that amount in a calendar tax year. Yeah, exactly, Ken. Makes the point. You need a great CPA because they're going to be able to go through your numbers specifically and be able to pinpoint that. I don't want to point you in the wrong direction. I can give you the 30,000 foot level stuff, being able to make bigger contributions to your 401k because you're paying back your loan amount. And of course, as Ken mentions, closing costs. And then of course, any interest payments on your mortgage are obviously a write-off in this calendar year. But congrats, that's going to be a nice Christmas present for you. That's awesome. Ken Davis says, I can't remember if you've discussed hard money, an important concept for new investors. I'll get to your question, Jim Jackson, in a minute. I'm feeling a bit of that myself lately, to be honest with you, Jim. So I'll maybe answer that question. I don't know that I have the answer, but I'm working on it. As far as the hard money goes, Ken, hard money can be a loose term. Like federal law enforcement thinks that hard money is illegal money, which is, different world, right? For what those guys deal with, like mafia guys and stuff. But like hard money lenders are not banks. They are hedge funds, etc., who will give house flippers. Like in my world in New Jersey, where I was doing wholesale deal after wholesale deal, flip deals. A lot of the investors I worked with used hard money loans to spend the 9 months renovating the property that I brought them. So they would take out a loan, and a lot of times they had like a 10, 11, 12% interest rate with their hard money lender, and 1 point. So 1 point and like 10 or 12% interest, and a first position on the mortgage if they were smart. Because what happens if they lend them this money to do the renovation, and then the renovator just skips town and goes to Guatemala? Well, now the hard money lender has first position on the title on the property, and then owns the property, can foreclose on it and takes ownership of it, and then can do the renovation themselves if the guy skips town. But that's hard money loans traditionally are very expensive, and I've used hard money loans before. I had a very large, like a multi-million-dollar hard money loan for different projects. And every time I did a deal, we had to submit paperwork, and it was already sort of pre-approved because we had the hard money loan, but we were paying per transaction. So we had a line of credit as a hard money loan that we could tap into and access, but the interest rate was much higher. We also had to pay like an initiation fee to have access to this hard money loan. So there are different degrees. You're going to find just a guy, could be just me, that loans you money, right? And constructs like a note, and that's a hard money loan. going to do it for 10, 12%. You're going to pay me back in 1 year based on the profits of you flipping that property. Great. And then you also have private money lenders, that's like Uncle Tom, Uncle Jim or whatever, who's going to give you money. And then you have like more professional hard money hedge funds, where they actually have institutionalized it a little bit. I'm thinking of like DLP lenders, direct lending partners. That's a company I know of. That's a hard money loan company. So yeah, I've definitely had experience with it. I don't recommend it if you don't need to pay such a high interest rate on that. Jim, how do you stay motivated when you're feeling overwhelmed? I can tell you, going back to my junior high school days, I remember exactly where I was in the car with my mom driving. I remember the intersection I was sitting in when my mom said, what's wrong? And I said, I just feel overwhelmed, Mom. Like I had schoolwork and I had like saxophone lessons or whatever, and karate lesson. I don't know. I was overwhelmed. And I told her, I said, I feel like it's like a cloud above my head, right? That's like there and it's like raining or whatever. It's just right there. And it wasn't until I was older that I realized that all of these like individual little things were not tied together at all, but I made them into a cloud. So they're not interconnected. Having to submit this paperwork for this thing over here has nothing to do with, fixing the registration on my car or whatever, they're not interconnected. And so once you get a planner, again, I keep coming back to the full focus planner. I don't care if you use a whiteboard, a to-do list, use your reminders app on your iPhone, and you start breaking things down into projects. And then every day you tackle these individual little steps, then the overwhelm really starts to disappear. I will say that the getting things done method by, what's his name? Who wrote the book Getting Things Done? I can't think of his name. Famous business book, of course. But he calls it a brain dump to start the process. Sit down for an hour and get a stack of note cards if you want. Okay? Just get a stack of note cards or Post-it notes. And on each Post-it note or note card, write down one thing that you have to accomplish. Okay, call Mom tomorrow for her birthday. That's something that's in your brain. Put it on a note card. Put it down. Next thing, get new car registration. Great, that's one thing out of your brain into the pile. At the end of it, you may have a pile of like 70 things, 50 things. Okay, then each of those 50 things was taking up space in your brain. Now they're out in note cards. Everything. I'm talking about buy stamps should go on a note card. Everything that you need to do or think about goes on these note cards in a pile. And then you organize them. Immediately, you can defer. Okay, this thing I don't have to do. This has to be my assistant's job. Okay, then defer it to her or him. This is not for me. This has to be him. Okay, great. Defer it. Now, if it's something you need to do and it takes less than 2 minutes, like send email, then you just pick it up and you just do it. Okay? Do it and then it's done. And then the ones that are projects, okay, like write book or, whatever, then you build that out in some sort of an app or on your whiteboard into a project. And then what are the 10 or 12 steps that'll take you to accomplish that project? And then every day you work on one of those steps, carve out some time on your calendar that tomorrow you're going to spend 2 hours working on action step number 1 to complete your job of writing that book. And so that's really how I fixed it. Instead of seeing it as one big cloud, you break it into little chunks, organize it into projects, or you defer it to somebody else, or you just get it done because it's going to take you less than 2 minutes. Then you get it off your plate, and then what you're left with are a series of projects, and then you break those down into little steps. And so that's how it's helped me to get away from the overwhelm, Jim. I don't know if that'll be helpful or not, but the getting things done methodology is a little antiquated now, but I love the once a month brain dump and then organizing myself for the month. It's really, really powerful. He used to, as an executive, he used to go into executives' offices when they hired him to do the getting things done methodology for executives. And he would go in. Oh, David Allen. Yes, David Allen. Thank you guys in the chat. Executives would hire him to come into McDonald's headquarters, and he would then work with the CEO of McDonald's. He would say, you need 2 days to clear your calendar. You cannot have any interruptions. I'm going to work with you for 2 days, and we're going to do this brain dump. And we're going to sit in your office, and you're going to put everything that's in your brain that you need to do down on note cards. And then we're going to organize it, and I'm going to show you how this works. And so he would spend like 2 days with these executives getting everything out of their brain into this brain dump. So anyway, I like that. I think it works a lot. Like I said, the Getting Things Done methodology by David Allen, it's a little antiquated now, but I still think that major pieces of it are really, really powerful. And then there are iPad apps. There are apps that have been built around the GTD method, like OmniFocus for the Mac, or OmniFocus. I don't know if they make a Windows version. I have it on my iPhone and I have it on my Mac. So you can use OmniFocus to have an inbox where you put these items and then you organize them into projects inside of OmniFocus. You can use Todoist is another really great app for getting things done. And now Apple's built-in reminders app has become so powerful. They've added all kinds of amazing features to Apple's reminders app now. There's all sorts of different features in iOS 15, like contextual reminders based on where you are at a location. You can set it up so that when your reminders app figures out that you're at Home Depot based on the current location, because you set that as a geofence, a list will pop up of the 5 things you need to get at the Home Depot. It'll know it because it's on using your geolocation from your GPS. Like, there's all sorts of really granular things you can do to become more organized and less stressed. I will say there's a book I will recommend called The Extended Brain, an excellent, excellent new book about organization and why our brains are not meant to hold all of this stuff in the same way that you have a key ring when you come home from school or you come home from work. You have a dish, a key dish or a key bowl, because our brains are not meant to remember where we put our keys. Like, by putting something that captures it, gets it out of our brain and into a bowl, then we don't have to think about our keys all the time. So The Extended Mind by Anna Murphy Paul. Check out this book, The Extended Mind, The Power of Thinking Outside of the Brain. So this will teach you to get rid of that crap, because our brains are not meant to hold this stuff in our minds, like where the keys are and all of these projects. So this is a really good book for that purpose. So anyway, I hope you find that helpful. So anyway. Awesome, guys. Well, thank you. So a little bit of decluttering before the new year. A great time to sit back and reflect. Don't waste those hours on the couch just watching football. Really sit down with your calendar, time block out your upcoming week, devote certain blocks of your calendar to taking action for these projects and things you want to accomplish. Contact your CPA before the end of the year. Make sure that your tax ducks are in a row so that you can take advantage of these things before the end of the calendar year. And there are laws, and new regulations you might not even have known about that you can take advantage of right now. So please take advantage of these things. Again, if you'd like to book a call with our team at Morris Invest, it's totally free. We will help you figure out your next steps in real estate investing, as well as your financial strategy. That's what our team does best. So just book a call with us. Just go to morrisinvest.com. Here's the website. That's my younger face. And then click on the book a call tab here. Oops, I clicked the wrong thing. Yeah, click on the book a call and a calendar will pop up. Put in your phone number and the time that you choose, and we will book a call at that specific time. Just make sure you put in the right phone number so we can call the right phone number. And you can see some of our new construction properties on the website as well. And take a look at those. Get a sense of what we do and what we build. All of that right there. So thanks, everyone. Hope you guys have a great rest of your week. Be safe out there as this crazy Omicron variant is scaring the pants off people. And be kind to each other. We'll see you back here next week. We do this show live every week at noon Eastern. We had to move it this week from yesterday because my son had a cello winter Christmas concert for the orchestra. So that was at his school yesterday. So we had to go and see that. It was lovely. So we'll see. And we're going to see how I play with the holiday schedule here. But for now, Tuesdays at noon Eastern, that's our goal. And we'll see how the holiday schedule shapes up once we get through this crazy time. We'll be back as normal probably after the break. All right, everyone. Much love to all of you. We'll see you back here next time.